Well, welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. Before we leave this cave that we have done spray painted all the demonic stuff off of, we're going to say another verse after we just did a prayer and rebuked the demons. We're going to say another verse in scripture over this cave before we leave. And today we're going to be in the book of Colossians chapter 1 verse 16. For by him we are all things created, that are in the heaven and that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. I'm going to repeat that. For by him we are all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether it be by thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. Take a good look around everything. Everything that has sprung up is God's hand, is God's creation. His original intent was for good, for all things to be shared common and equally, as in Eden. But ugliness crept into creation the day he allowed true freedom to man. Instead of admiration and thanks, many men have divided up the lands and created evilness, and it's put ruins, and it's took over the resources, making it their own. To squander God's gift is also a sin. For everything he did was intended to be loved, enjoyed, and shared. This is perfect. Like I tell you, I don't pick these verses out, and you would think I did, going by sometimes how the verses I pick out seems to go where God led me. But see, here's the thing: I always pray that God lead me where he wants me to go. He puts the words in my mouth that he wants me to say. And when I post the videos, that it reaches the people he wanted to reach. And see that this book right here, this is all I do. And as you can tell, this is my third book, because I have done already, 3 of these, doing these things. And look at it, it's all filled up. See, it's all filled up from me doing all my studies and writing the verses. And I just happen to have a square, the check mark, and after I do each one, I check it so that I know that I've already done it. So all I do when I get here is I just pick the book and I flip through and I open it up, and whatever it lands on, God wanted me to do, and therefore I do it. Then after I get done, I take my little red pen and I check it to make sure that I've already did that. Now if I happen to open up a page and it's already got a check mark, then I'm like, okay, God must make me go to the next one. And that's what I do. So God leads me to what he wants and what verse needs to be said. So a lot of times when you see me laughing, it is because it just so happened that what he had picked out for me, the ones he wanted me to go over, happened to fit the things that are where I'm at. Just like yesterday when I found this cave, the verse I spoke over it tend to match what was happening just now. The verse I just preached seemed to match about me covering and fixing God's creation. And yesterday, when I did the second verse, I had walked down this way and along this mountain cliff side right here, and did the second verse, which happened to correspond with the first one he had me read, which was the 2 ones that I had did yesterday. But of course it got dark, so I had to leave because I had things I was doing, and I didn't make it out in time before it got too dark. So I was only able to do the 3 videos, one of the cave and the 2 Bible study videos. But I came back this morning. It's hot as crap out here. So I usually don't do it in the afternoons or whatever because it's just too hot. Because I'm in Texas, man, and it's like over 100 degrees out here. And from noon all the way to, I'm going to say 5 o'clock in the evening, it's about 106, 105, sometimes 103. And it's September, man. So it is extremely hot. So I don't usually come out until, depends on how far the mountain I want to go. I used to start at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon because some of the hikes take me that long. But usually in the mountain, I don't have them on this dead of sun, you know, because I'm in the tree, so it gives me a lot of shade, and so therefore I'm not too much worried about it. But I try to start out in the afternoon so that way I can make it home before it gets dark, because whatever 2 or 3 hours it takes me, I still got to do that 2 or 3 hours to get back home. But I just love how God just leads me to the correct ways as fitting. And just like we covered this up here in the verse that we had just went over, you know, this God created all this. And even though somebody put it upon themselves, the evilness, we fix the evilness. And then I know that some people's like, well, then that means God created evil. It just said so in that verse, that God created all things. He also created evil. He didn't really create evil, so to speak, but he kind of did. We emerged the evil ourselves by doing sin. So God is using the evilness that we have put out into the world for his own good. Because when people create and do evilness things, a lot of times it brings people closer to God. A lot of times when people see the evil in the world, it makes them turn to God and be like, God, I need help. Get me away from this evilness. It teaches us lessons. The things that the devil does, a lot of people at times get frustrated, so mad, because all this evilness has happened to them, they want to blame God. No, that's just Satan wanting you to hate God, wanting you to curse God. It's not supposed to turn you away from God. It's supposed to turn you toward God, so that he can give you the help and the guidance that you need to make it through these battles, to fight the evil. But a lot of people don't see that. They want to turn around and blame God for it. It's Satan that's creating all this. It's Satan that put the evil in there when he tempted Adam and Eve and made them do the first sin that rotated all the way around the earth. And it spread all the negativity into the atmosphere from generation to generation. It's a generational curse that all started with Adam and Eve, the sin. We are to fight against it. And see, God gives us the power to do so. That's why it's important to seek wisdom and knowledge, because God would give you the wisdom to understand the things that is supernatural, that the human mind cannot fathom. Because we just want to see things of this earth. We just want to know things that is right here in front of us. And here's a lot of things. We're in a world that's just not what's right in front of us. We're in a world that consumes of the unseen, the unknown. And a lot of people stay in their box. We got to think outside that box. We got to live outside that box, because we was never meant to be in a box. The world is too big and too vast to be blinded. We're like those horses when they put those things on their eyes so that they don't be distracted from any and everything, and they just go straight forward. That is what the government and all the religions and everything is doing. You're being that horse being led to go the direction that they want you to go, to only see what they want you to see. That's not natural. The horses was meant to see everything so they could watch out for the snakes going this way. They can see when something's coming that way. They can see all directions so they can know if they really want to go that way or not. It's unnatural. What is natural is to be outside the box. If God wanted you to be in a box, you would have been born into a box. But you was born out in the open, out of the room, into the openness. We got to think like that. We got to live like that. We got to be like that. We got to know and understand like that. That's why it's called faith, trust, and belief.